So, thought I'd do another drive today, uh, just to give an update on the Robotaxi and have a little drive on FSD, see how it works here. Let's see, put a destination here. So, yesterday the Robotaxi did come out, and they were driving around Austin. So it turns out that it did have a safety passenger. So that was interesting. Um, and the the weird thing about the safety passenger was I actually thought that they were going to be somebody there to be able to answer questions and whatnot. Um, but it turns out that they actually weren't there to answer any questions. They weren't even supposed to talk to the guests. So they were there literally to hit the stop button if anything were to go wrong. Um, so a lot of people were speculating that they were using the door handle button to be something that they could report some feedback or something, or that would be like kind of the kill switch, like they could just stop the drive or pull over or whatever. But they did have on the screen, they actually had pull over, uh, stop in lane, and the that was a little bit too close in my opinion to do that U-turn. That was weird. So I just had to give it a little bit of accelerator there. Didn't want that guy being super inconvenienced by us. But anyway, so they did have the safety passenger there, nobody in the driver's seat, and they had the three button option that they could do. They could do pull over, they could do stop in the lane, or they could do support. And seems like everything went well for the majority of the drives. There were a couple things that occurred that I guess would not be so great. And I did see that Farzad actually had posted a situation where the safety passenger did actually have to engage, and they pressed the pull over button and called for support. And what happened was that he was going to be turning into a gated community. So the Robotaxi wanted to turn into the gated community, couldn't go that way. So the safety passenger hit the pull over button and then support, and support came up really quickly. So that would be the teleoperator, I guess you could say, that are monitoring those, so they could give the command to the car to continue straight instead of turn left into the gated community, which it actually couldn't. Now this is weird. I put the I put the destination in of City Barbecue, and it just keeps going around the parking lot. I don't really know. It seemed like it was never going to get there, so that was weird. So we will put in a different destination. Anyway, so that was one thing that came up with the safety passengers, which is interesting. So they can stop it. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly they can get rid of the safety passengers, or whatever they're calling them. But we didn't get any information out of them, and because they basically weren't allowed to answer any questions. So that was kind of a bummer. It would have been nice to get a little bit more information about it. Hopefully they'll start, giving us more information. More people will get drives. More interesting scenarios will come up, and we'll see what's going on with that. But the good news is that they were offering it. People were getting the rides. They were paying for them. So Tesla's actually getting some revenue for Robotaxi rides in Austin. It's a small area. I think the estimate is around 30 square miles. The initial geofenced area that they could go in. And obviously there's going to be a lot more room for expansion in Austin proper. In metro areas could be obviously a lot wider area. So hopefully they'll be rolling that out and gradually expanding that range and offering it to more and more people. I heard that they did get more invites. Today is the second day that they actually been doing the rides, and it's by invite only, which is obviously expected because they only have somewhere between 10 and 40 cars. There was a screenshot of Tesla kind of doing like a party at their their office or their headquarters or whatever, and they were monitoring like how many miles and everything. And one of the things on the screenshot showed that it was like 35, but you can't really see with the quality of the picture whether it's 35 cars. So some people speculated it was 35 cars. It could have been just 35 I don't know, miles, or it could have been 35 whatever. I'm not sure. 35 people, customers, maybe, who knows. So it might have been 35 cars, and if it is, that's actually a lot more cars than they originally said. They originally said it was going to start with 10 to 20. So if on the first day they already did that, that would be great. Now, they did say like 499 miles. That was actually visible. So that you could tell that they had actually already gone around 500 miles midday yesterday. So that means that, by now they surely have had over 1,000 miles driven with these robotaxis with no drivers. So with paying customers. So very interesting to see how that's going to progress and how quickly they're going to expand out of Austin. And also, I'd be really interested to see when we get that update, or at least another update on FSD on our cars, because it's actually been a while since we got 13.2.9, which I'm using now. It works great. I mean, very seldomly have to disengage. Most of the time, it's just situations like just earlier where, I would prefer to have either waited for that car to pass before we did that U-turn, or I would, in this case, I just intervened and just put the accelerator on because, again, it wasn't dangerous, but I really just didn't want to. I don't want to put others inconvenienced by us just because we're, doing something that's kind of in the way. Like, if he had to slow down, I feel like we're not being considerate of other drivers. So I try to avoid that. Also, earlier today, we were taking a left, and we needed to be in the left lane, but we were in the right left turn lane, which I knew that lane goes away very quickly. So I disengaged it to just go ahead and put it in the correct lane that it needed to be in. Things like that. Those are the things that I disengage it for. It's really just preference. I've also let it just do its thing in those scenarios, and it always seems to just do it properly. It's just, again, a matter of preference. Like, I would rather not have to stress about whether it's going to get in the correct lane when it's really easy to just prepare yourself ahead of time to be in the correct lane. That's the most frequent situation where I feel like I should disengage it or intervene. So hopefully we'll get an actual update soon to our cars for the FSD software, because they have some obviously newer software version that they're using on the Robotaxis, and they could at least give us an update that would be hopefully less supervised, where you wouldn't have to pay attention as much, or it wasn't as critical of like eye detection and or the steering wheel thing. I very frequently actually get the notification that I have a device detected in hand, which I can't really understand why it does that. It's almost always when it's sunny It seems like maybe the sun, like just where I position my hand, like I just put it on my legs. But I don't know. It thinks like with the shadows and the sun that I have a device in my hand. So I get that all the time, and then you have to apply pressure to the steering wheel. It would really be nice if they would get a lot more slack on the attention monitoring um, as a first step towards getting to unsupervised. Obviously, unsupervised is not going to be allowed in in all areas. Now, I think what they can do is they could probably say that it's uh, like supervised, but basically you don't have to pay attention at all. You do have to be in the driver's seat. You got to have your seatbelt on, but you don't have to pay attention at all, and it will like alert you if you need to pay attention. Maybe they could do that pretty much everywhere. I'm not sure what the regulations are on that. I know, like for example, in Georgia, you know, you're not allowed to have a cell phone in your hand, so you're not supposed to be using your phone while you're driving. So if that's the case, then I mean, if you had unsupervised and literally you didn't need to be paying attention, it would be really difficult or challenging to actually not just be using your phone during that time. But I think technically you get pulled over for, um, you know, if the cop is right next to you and sees that you have a phone in your hand. I guess I think more so that law comes into play if you're in an accident or something. Um, if they find out that you had a device in your hand, obviously it's like I don't know. It's another thing that they can ding you on, especially if you know they're trying to find out who's at fault for the accident. But anyway, that was it for this one. I just wanted to give another update on the Robotaxi event and how it was going. It seems like it's going very well. Everybody seems very happy. I think it's a lot smoother than Waymo's, which is interesting. So it's just not as jittery and stuff, which makes sense. I mean, it's very smooth and human-like in our car. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.